Long time no see in a What I Eat in a Day video. Today's focus will be on post-strength training nutrition and eating 3 times a day without snacking in between. Having fewer meals a day is so much better if you know how to keep your blood sugar, aka energy, stable throughout the day. Your digestive system has a chance to clean itself up and your body can focus on other areas that need attention. By the way, I've activated the thanks button below my videos, so if you think that my work is worthy of it, you can support it with as little as €2 or dollars, depending on where you are, or as much as €50 or dollars. Cheers! Let's start with that strength training. I usually strength train fasted in the morning and do so twice a week, as it's been scientifically proven to be the best number for women my age, 43, and older. Once is worse and 3 times is not better either. Another thing that's been proven is that doing 3 sets of 8 to 10 exercises is optimal for muscle gain. Be aware that you need to achieve muscular fatigue at the end of each set. And thirdly, doing a full body is more beneficial than having separate days for separate muscle groups, for example, upper and lower body. If you want to learn more about exercise that really works for women over 40, go and get a 5-day workout plan from Deborah Atkinson. You'll get 5 short workout videos daily, no more than 15 minutes each. Yet you'll do strength training, cardio, and even a core recovery day. Plus, you'll get a short audio daily that helps you connect your hormones to your exercise. I started like this myself. Here's a glimpse what those 5 days will give you. You'll learn the right exercise for your body, be on your way to stronger core, identify exercise that makes you feel better, not tired, activate your natural fat burning capabilities, be more resilient to stress, and even start sleeping better. Now, this is what I do today. Each exercise lasts for 45 seconds, then I'll have 15 seconds respite and start with the next one, and do 3 sets. First up are good old squats. Make sure you do your squats correctly by not leaning forward, which would hurt your knees, but rather sitting backwards so that there's 90-degree angle between your knee and leg. Secondly, another form of a squat. With your feet slightly wider than hips, squat yourself down, stay low, and curtsy. This is a tough one as your thighs are constantly working without relief. Now we've got a side lunge alternating between right and left leg. This is one of the exercises that gives me so much pleasure because when I started out, I really couldn't go low at all, but now I can feel how my legs are so much stronger and I have control over my movement. Next up is a squat with a side kick, alternating between right and left leg. It's a good movement from Deborah's plan because you rarely use those side muscles. Moving on to upper body. Push-ups with the emphasis on lowering yourself down. Don't try to force yourself to push back up by any means. Instead, make an effort when you're lowering yourself down. This is another important lesson from Deborah. If you're not strong enough to push back up, use your body to come back up and then try to resist while lowering your chest towards the mat. Try to be as low as you possibly can. I'm already at a point where I can push myself back up using my arms. However, I will use my body for the last few push-ups. Now I'm into high plank and start swinging those knees towards my chest. This may seem like a piece of cake, but believe me, those arms start to burn quite quickly. Try to stay there for 45 seconds. Next is triceps dip. Now this was really tough one when I first started. I could do less than 10 without putting my butt down on the mat. It's totally okay though to start like that if you haven't worked your upper body at all. Now I can do 25 during the first set and more than 10-15 during the second and third one. This is how you do it with your butt down. Last exercise combines both upper and lower body. Take a chair or use a coffee table or a bed frame or your sofa. Do a push-up and then lift one of the legs while keeping it very straight with your foot flexed. Keep your core straight when lifting the leg. No bending through the back. Quality is more important than the speed. I accidentally positioned myself too close to the wall and was a bit uncomfortable, but you get the idea. Now I take a minute and 15 seconds break and do it all over again, a minute and 15 seconds break again, and the third set. Stretching is important as well. Here are some moves that I use for lower body. And those are good for the upper body muscles. I give myself a clap and off to the shower I go. As I didn't eat anything pre-workout, I try to fix my breakfast as soon as I can. However, if you do eat before, it's recommended you eat a high-protein meal 60 to 90 minutes after your training. By the way, leucine is the key amino acid when it comes to muscle gains. It is recommended to consume 2.5 to 5 grams post-workout. The best plant-based sources of leucine are hard tofu and pea protein powder. I personally hate pea protein powder. The taste is not for me. To me, it ruins the whole meal when I add more than half a tablespoon. And you need to consume at least 3 scoops for that amount of leucine. So let's go. About 200 grams of berries, blueberries and raspberries today. Then adding soy milk and oat milk. I warm it up on the stove, enough to thaw the frozen berries and for the mixture to be at room temperature. Now I blend 200 grams of hard tofu with some of the berry milk. This is how much tofu is needed to get the minimum amount of leucine for the muscles. The dry mixture today is ground chia seeds, wheatgrass powder, mesquite powder, cardamom, cinnamon and ginger. By the way, the combination of white blueberries and cardamom boosts the activity of natural killer cells. I stir it into the berry milk and add the tofu blend as well. This is my absolute favorite soy yogurt, totally additive free and so good. Unfortunately, they stopped selling it in Estonia, so I order it from Lithuania now. Well, at least I can get it. 4 heaping tablespoons go in, mixing it through one last time and transferring into a bowl. Finishing touches, soaked sesame seeds and sunflower seeds. I do seed cycling. For the first half of my cycle, I eat flax seeds and pumpkin seeds, and for the second half, sesame and sunflower. Seed cycling or rotation can be used to boost estrogen levels in the first part of your cycle and progesterone levels in the second part. After breakfast, I go for a walk. It does so much good for the digestion and helps keep blood sugar levels steady as well. Whenever I don't move after brekkie, my energy is much lower and I want to eat a lot sooner. As I trained this morning, the walk won't be too long, just about 40 minutes or so. My high-protein breakfast bowl will keep me going for at least 4 to 5 hours. When I was filming the 11 Food Revolution Summit Takeaways video, I totally forgot myself and went without eating for 7 hours after breakfast. But my energy level was fine, no hypoglycemia occurred. About 2 hours after eating, I have my holy ritual preparing and drinking matcha latte. It's best to drink matcha at least an hour away from meals as it can mess with nutrient absorption from food. I can't help but show off my favorite cup. I'm totally in love with it. Let me just take a few sips before I sit down and work. This really is one of my favorite moments every day. This, by the way, is my nutritional studies book. I will need to dig in today again. Okay, it's lunchtime. I got 3 slices of my sprouted buckwheat and lentil bread and toasted until crispy. When the bread's freshly made the same morning, I skip the toasting. While the breads are toasting, I'm nibbling on some cucumber and bell pepper. Scientific studies show that preloading with non-starchy veggies will help you keep blood sugar stable and avoid those harmful spikes and therefore also reactive hypoglycemia. The bread's ready. I let it cool a bit, taking out my high-protein soybean hummus with sun-dried tomatoes and spread it on the slices. This time I sopped some of the soybeans with chickpeas, so it's a multi-bean hummus. And I always eat a few heaping knifeles, is it the word, of hummus as it is. So good. And now let's do some magic with broccoli sprouts. I tend to be generous when it comes to sprouts on my bread. Now look at this goodness. With my sandwiches, I like to sip on chicory drink, which is simply made of chicory powder, hot water, and some oat milk. And before you say anything, it is okay to drink a tiny bit with your meal, maximum 100 milliliters. I think I even sip less. It won't dilute my stomach acids. For a dessert, and while I study a bit, I like to have a few pieces of dark chocolate. This is my current favorite one. It's a 93% chocolate. Studies show that those eating cacao and dark chocolate, not to be confused with sugary milk chocolate, have 71% less depression. By the way, cacao got praised quite a lot during the 11th Food Revolution Summit. Shortly after I finished my chocolate, I take another short walk, again to keep my energy stable. It can be as trivial as a quick shop trip. Before dinner, I get family's dessert going. I'm making 3 portions of chia pudding with 3 handfuls of goji berries, about 50 grams of rolled oats, and 6 tablespoons of chia seeds. I give it a stir before pouring in regular oat milk. Now, the secret to clump-free chia pudding is to stir it almost continuously in the beginning until you see that it starts to gel up. When that happens, I pour in some soy milk and keep stirring. Once the chia seeds have swollen a bit and you can feel the gel-like consistency, you can leave it alone and come back every now and then to give it another stir and adding milk or other liquid as necessary. With this amount of dry ingredients, 3 handfuls of gojis, 50 grams oats and 6 tablespoons chias, it'll eventually fill up a 1-liter bowl. Okay, let's leave the dessert be and make some dinner. You need to get those daily greens in, so I'm fixing myself some spinach. All this is for me. Tearing it up a bit to make the volume smaller. Here we go. Boiling some whole wheat pasta. My kid loves it, by the way. In the pot, in the background, is leftover tomato sauce with edamame beans, which I'm heating up at the same time. Let's soak wakame for daily iodine. By the way, a little goes a long way. Just a few grams of dried wakame will give you the adequate amount of iodine. Adding broccoli sprouts to my bowl, as well as pasta and the tomato sauce. Here's how much the wakame has swollen. Trying to fit that in as well. It's getting quite crowded in the bowl. And I must take a photo as well, so I can't just throw everything in a pile, which I'd normally do. Some extra green onion won't hurt, and finally some black sesame seeds, mainly for aesthetic reasons. The photo, you know. Okay, let's chew through it. Half an hour to an hour later, I prepare my dessert bowl. So, to the 1/3 of the pudding I fixed before, I'm adding lemon juice. Love the sour taste and it's good for blood sugar balance as well. A quarter of an apple sliced And yes, I cut my thumb twice, hence the band-aid. Homemade peanut butter, activated almonds, it means soaked and then dehydrated, walnuts, also activated, hemp hearts, cacao nibs, and finally a drizzle of date syrup for some sweetness. And that's all the sweetness that I need. Some comes from the plant milks, goji berries, apple, peanut butter, and date syrup. I found that this chia heavy dessert is very good on my digestive system as well as blood sugar. My energy is stable, I don't get hungry before bed, and my stomach is calm. And yes, I'm guilty, I'm eating it while watching Netflix. However, I try to be as conscious as possible about the chewing process. Time-wise, I try to finish eating at least 2 hours before I go to bed. I hope you got some inspiration and maybe even learned something new. I'd love to hear from you in the comments and see you becoming a member of my community.